Here we are at problem 7b from our target 3. We're asked, you're going to hang 5 pictures on a wall, and the pictures are 10 inches wide. Now the total space is 6 feet wide for this wall. If the pictures are to be evenly spaced apart, with the spaces on the left and the right to be double the space in between the pictures, what are all the widths? So we've actually seen a few of these from class, as well as it's kind of like that parking lot example that we've been looking at and discussing. But let's just kind of go ahead and draw the scenario. Usually with a lot of these things, just kind of drawing a picture of the representation, I don't know, for the most part that usually helps me out. So let's go ahead and draw this. We have our picture, or I should say really our wall. This is kind of like representing our wall. And on this wall, we have 5 total pictures. So we have 1, that might be a little big, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Alright, so there are our 5 pictures. It says that they are all 10 inches wide. So if you can imagine, I know it doesn't quite look like it, like this one looks a little bit bigger, but they are all 10 inches wide. So this is 10, this is 10, 10, 10, and 10. So each one of these are 10 inches wide. Now, the whole entire wall space, it claims, is 6 feet wide. So this entire thing is 6 feet wide. Now, we're talking about, when we look at the inches, the pictures, that they are in terms of inches. Okay, so all of these are in inches it mentioned. And we're talking about a different unit here in terms of feet. Well, one thing that we can go ahead and do is we can go ahead and convert this one to inches. So 6 feet is the exact same thing as saying there are 12 inches in every foot for a grand total of 72 inches. Or you could, if you really wanted to, you could convert these ones to feet. But a conversion has to at least happen at some point to be able to relate these two numbers together. Okay. Now, we're trying to figure out and determine what is the distance in between these pictures, which we don't yet know. It also does mention that on the sides, it's twice as big as those in the middle. So that's why on the sides, we end up with 2x. Now, we're going to go ahead and define the variable. And we'll go ahead and say that x, you could use w for width, but up to you. X equals the length, or the width. In this case, it doesn't really matter. It is talking about width, so we'll go ahead and reference width. So the width of the space in between the pictures. So just the space in between the pictures, not including the sides. We can find those, but just the space in between. Alright, so now that we have kind of like our entire diagram, this should be able to help us out with constructing the equation. And for our equation, we know that we have a grand total of 72 inches. This will be our total. And we're pretty much just combining all of these things one at a time. So as a result, we end up with 2x plus 10 plus x plus 10 plus x plus 10 plus x. Let's see here, we have our 2x, 1, 2. We have a total of 3 10s right now. 10 plus 2x. So that should be our equation. So we have, again, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yep. And yeah, there is our equation. The entire thing, when we combine it all together, should total 72 inches. Now, you don't necessarily have to write it out this long way. Many of us, in fact, I would encourage you, many of us can probably just be like, oh, I have 10-inch pictures, and I have 5 of them, so right away we have 50. Okay, and then just combining all the x's, we have 1x, 2x, 3, 4, 8. I'm sorry, 1x, 2x, 3x, 4x, 6x, 8x. So if you really want, you can just kind of go ahead and do the green. You can kind of skip this blue step, but I'm just showing you for one item at a time. That's what they would then total from left to right. All right, now all we have to go ahead and do is solve for x. So we know that we can go ahead and subtract 50 from both sides. And when we do that, we end up with 8x equals 22. And then lastly, divide both sides by 8. So then it looks like x comes out to be equal to, we know that we can divide the top and bottom both by 2, giving us 11 over 4 inches. Or if you, this would be pretty much close to 2 and 3/4 inches. And that's what the question was asking, was what's kind of like the space in between the pictures, 2 and 3/4 inches. You would just double that to get the sides. Again, though, that is problem 7B from our target